Yo, we got everybody. New setup, who this? New mic, who this? New mic, new setup, brother. We chillin', brother. See if anybody pops on the live stream. Pretty much just want to show up my new setup. Yo, we got somebody in the live stream. Sick. Welcome, lads. What's up? Good to see you. We got one homie. Penguins. Edits. Sick. Good to see you. I basically literally just wanted to hop on a live stream because I got a brand new setup. Check it out. Oh, I got two people now. Check it out. Yeah, I got a full-on setup for the desk now. Mainly for like doing live streams with all the athletes I coach and stuff like that. But I wanted to hop on the YouTube and see how it goes. I got a mic and everything as well. Yeah, not bad, eh? The only thing is like normally like I wouldn't film on my computer or use the webcam on my computer just because, you know, a computer webcam isn't great. But for YouTube live streams, it's fine for now. I'll get a web webcam one day. But yeah, sick, sweet. How you doing, Penguins? You got any questions? You hanging out? You got a good summer? Hey, elite fishing tips to commit to a back two. That's well. I mean, if you're struggling with back twos, obviously we can go through technique and stuff like that. Your first back two, obviously, when we're working up to that, we want to have good 360s. If you can't do a good 360, we should, learn that before we do back two. Just being able to bring your knees up, look around, everything like that is super important. Our first, technique-wise, like our 360 is very similar to our back two, where we lift up, turn around. You're not gonna grab safety, but you're gonna bring your knees to your chest. First back two, I would hop on. I would dip my heel like this, and I would start to rotate before you even get to the end of the rail. So I'm like, this is 90 degrees. I'm here, and then my first one, I would just look fully with my head, so I don't really have a choice. You're gonna land like maybe here. You skirt to forwards, but just get past the landing switch. The biggest thing is your first time get past the landing switch without edge catching. Super kind of easy to say, a little bit scary to do at the beginning, but that's basically it. It's like, how do I hop on this rail and cheat it as much as possible by looking? You can almost be at switch by the time you get off the rail and then hop the switch 180. If you haven't done any switch 180s or anything like that yet, I'd recommend doing some switch 180s as well. And then after you get the first one around, then we work on like actual technique and everything for a back two. But I mean, for the most part, that's how you do it. I wouldn't go super fast. I wouldn't hit a really big cannon or anything like that. Like you can literally do a cheat, like a little back two where you don't even land fully forwards and just like land a little bit sideways and skirt it to forwards off a rail this high off the ground. Tube is probably the best. So I wouldn't overthink it too much, but mainly just cheat it. When you get to the end of the rail, look with your head so that there's no going back. And then we go from there. Yo, Nate, we got more people with the setup. The setup is nice. The new setup is nice. What's a good trick to add to my repertoire as an advanced skier who is getting better at tricks? Comfortable with 180s and 360s and rails when I commit. Yeah, Nate, that's a good question. So what would I start with? I think the best thing you can do is work up to 540s and add grabs, making them clean, making them, a proper 540. Like people can say they can do 360s and stuff like that, but then they'll set the 360 like this, super tall, looking around with their body upright. We want to come to the jump. We want to be nice, square, bring our knees to our chest, rotate around, spotter landing, up 540. We don't just want to send a pencil 540 where we're, setting with our upper body the whole way. 540 is a good place to start. I would also start adding in tricks like, I think like from the tricks you suggested where you're at now, I don't think there's a point in like really working towards adding flips yet. You don't really need to flip. More just like adding spins and making them clean. So a right 360 would be a good thing to add. A 540 would be a great thing to add. And then both ways switch 360s would be a really good thing to add. maybe not the most exciting things to add, but definitely the most important, I think, to add. And then rails, start bringing those tricks to rails. Like you can do a good right 360, you can do a good a natural rail slide, then you can start doing back twos. You can do a good 540, really good 540. You're comfortable hitting rails and doing back twos, then you're ready to do back fours, right? So kind of those basic spins, 360s always, clean, 540, clean, and then bringing those kind of tricks out of rails. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the first live stream done on YouTube in a long time. It's been a minute. I should come with like topics to talk about. Let's just kind of just doing this to try out the new setup more than anything. But Jesus. Yeah. Cat C. How do I even search for good off-piste spots? Off-piste spots for like trying tricks. The main valley, I've heard they have wintergreen, good parks. Any recommendations for skiing in there? I'm not sure. I haven't really skied a lot there, so I'm not sure. I feel like Luke Voton, those guys have a good understanding of where you should be skiing in those areas that have the best parks. But I honestly don't know. I'd have to look it up for you. Cat CC, how do I even search for good off-piste spots? So off-piste spots depends on where you're skiing. If you're skiing like backcountry big mountains like Whistler and stuff like that, and big mountains, or you're from like Ontario like me and it's like 300-foot hills. Either way, a lot of the times to find good side hits and stuff that you can actually do tricks out of. This is how I learned like my first 360s, 540s, all that stuff was like not in the park, was on side hits off the side of runs and stuff like that. I would say a really good spot is to go through trees. Like a lot of these like little tree runs, more open tree runs, or just like the tree area, like off like the actual, cat track or the actual run, have a lot of good like just bumps and jumps that you can hit. Always looking around the mountain, like where I can like cut off and like, catch some air. It's pretty much it. I think like if you do have like a big mountain, like Whistler or something, obviously the higher up you go, you're going to get, and the more off the runs you go, the more you're going to get these like drop features and stuff like that. But I think a good spot to start is just like looking in the trees, not looking in the trees, like riding more like tree area stuff, and just keeping your eye out when you're riding. Love glades and side hits. I've started progressing to park. Best tricks are three tail. Yeah, that's awesome, Nate. That's literally where I started like my whole ski journey, was like I would just do 360s out of everything I could find, try to spin out of everything I could find, whether it was like one like run merging on another, there's a little bump, I would try to hit like jump, I'd try to grab do a grab, I'd try to like do a shifty. It was just like literally how I started like into park. And then I like the first time I saw a rail and a jump, I was like, oh my God, they actually like make this stuff on purpose, and it blew my mind. So definitely where we start. I live in Sweden, but I'm not in Sweden's biggest mountains, smaller than AR. Okay, yeah, I'm not too sure about the Sweden because I've never really skied in Sweden, but I feel like it's very similar where you just kind of look for these features off-piste. I want to have the best outfit when winter comes. Do you have a recommendation of off-piste skiing? Dude, no idea. That's hard. Yeah, Tommy Hawk, I got you, buddy. Quick shout out. That's hard. I mean, clothing and stuff is all, based on your personal preference, everything like that. Everybody has their own things. I feel like a lot of these like lo-fi companies or more core companies like Harlow Apparel, Vulgus, Jackson Car Starters thing they started, Clover and everything like that, are kind of popular right now. And they do actually make maybe not the most like technical like gear, like the best gear, but it usually looks pretty good and on par with like what the culture is going for now. I personally ride Dope Snow. Some of you guys may have opinions on that. Some of you may not, but their gear works well for me. I like the way it looks if you get the right stuff. And I'm a smaller guy, so I can wear like XL and it's baggy on me. Flynn Baxter. Living in England is just the worst for summer training. Dude, I don't know about you, but I feel like living in England is amazing for summer training because don't you have a bunch of dry slope setups? Like, I feel like in the UK, there's tons of dry slopes. Everywhere else in the world, we're shut down for the summer. Tommy Hawk, what ski should I get if I want to get twin tips? Alaska, dude. I would love to go to Alaska. I cannot ski any big mountain stuff, but I would love to ski the resort there. I'm too scared to ski the big mountain stuff. I don't know enough about it yet, and I'm not that good of a big mountain skier. But Flynn, yeah. So, or Tommy, what ski should I get? Twin tips should I get for the park? I have no idea, dude. Honestly, everybody always asks me like, "What's your favorite skis? What's your favorite trick?" It's all personal preference. Like, more or less, just get yourself a durable twin tip park ski that's not too heavy, um, and not super soft when you're starting like skiing. Like you want something that's like a pretty solid ski. That's not like you don't really want to start with like a Vishnu because well you can, but it's just not going to hold up super well when you're trying to land when you're landing back seat all the time and stuff like that. When you're first doing 360s and everything, you want like a little bit more solid ski. I think basic Armada like AR 86 or even smaller is a really good thing. And I think the heavier the ski, the worse when you're starting out, just because it makes it a lot harder and makes it a lot like give you a. I got Fortnite game, love it. Fortnite it up, Tommy Hawk, box that kid in. But I think the lighter ski when you're first starting out is going to help you create better habits than a heavier ski. When you have a heavier ski and you're just learning your first 360s and stuff like that, you're gonna cheat tricks, and it's not a good habit to get into. Last year I picked up a Dynastar Menace 90s, but I started skiing park more. I started to not love them. I've never tried a Dynastar ski, so I cannot tell you if it's an all mountain ski or on center mounted ski. When you're just trying to get into park, definitely go with a center mounted ski. If you guys are riding park without a center mounted ski and you're serious about park, you should get a center mounted ski. You should mount it at dead center. It should be, able to go switch and forwards. This I rode my first year in park or first year or two in park with on center mounted skis. It's not a big deal. Like you can still do everything. Like it's definitely harder to hit rails. Definitely gonna land more back seat when you're doing 360s and stuff on jumps. Switch stuff is a little bit harder, but it's doable. But I would definitely recommend a center mount ski. Yeah, and if it's more of a center or all mountain glade ski, then it's probably if you have the money and you can afford to get a park ski, get a park ski. Why do I ride the T-Wall Pros? Why do I ride the T-Wall Pros? I just like them. I honestly, I will admit they're not the most durable ski. I personally went through like 6 or 7 pairs this year. You guys won't go through that many. You guys might go through one pair of T-Walls in a year. But I like them because they're light. They're solid enough for jumps. Like if I'm doing big tricks, they still hold up. Like I'm not like nose wheeling out of everything. Mainly because they're light, they're fun, and they're really easy to do tricks on. Like it's a lot easier to do tricks on a lighter, playful, fun ski that still holds up than it is to do something on like a really heavy, wide ski. So it just like works really well for that stuff. It's a really good park ski. The only thing I would say the Tomosh Pro is like one of the better park skis I've ever rode. It's just not as durable as other brands like Armada or Faction or anything like that. I think they're working on it, but yeah, that's the only thing. I really like the ski. It's just right now they're having a little bit of durability issues, but I think they're working on it. My dream ski is a Faction Prodigy 3. Sick. Dope ski. Tyler, IDK, how to do switch. It's my 4th year. If you want any freestyle skiing help, I'll send you the link. But I do a lot of online coaching in the community we have, subacademy.com. There's just free tutorials and everything in there. You guys can go download all the free tutorials for skiing and everything like that. If you can't ski switch, you need to just practice it. It's that simple. When I was learning how to ski switch, I would literally do my first 3 runs every day I went riding. I would literally do it all switch. Like I would just go down the easiest green run, groomed, and I would just ride switch. If that meant I was switch piecing down the run and it took me like 30 minutes to get down, that's what I would do. A lot of people, like, the reason they can't ski switch is they just don't spend very much time skiing switch. They just try to ski switch into park features for the first time, but they never actually just ride the switch or practice riding switch. Yeah, I think the biggest thing to practice switch is like just when you get to the hill, like, doesn't have to be a huge run, doesn't have to be top to bottom, but just pick like a green run that takes like, a couple minutes to go down, and force yourself to do two switch flaps before you go ride anything else. I think that's a really easy way to get in the habit of it. Switch skiing is like, yeah, we can break down technique of it a little bit, then like the way you should ski switch. But when you're first starting out, it's like, I can give you tips on how to ski switch and how you should stagger your stance and stuff like that, but you just need to try it more at the beginning, and then we can go into tips. Bruce, from my understanding, you did gymnastics, correct? Yeah, I did gymnastics. I feel like it helped me out with my air awareness a little bit. Overall, as an athlete and being more athletic, I think it helped a lot as well. I think it's just like good to get upside down and get in. Like I had like okay air awareness before I started trying ski tricks on trampoline. Other than that, I don't think it would help that much. Like you can do air, like if you're doing like a lot of trampoline, you don't really need to do gymnastic stuff. Just however you can get into the idea of like flipping and spinning, whether it's on trampoline, whether it's gymnastics, doesn't really matter. But the more you can do, the better. Just started park skiing. I went to Woodward Copper and started learning Misty 5s in the airbag, but I wasn't allowed to take the snow because my rotation speed was too slow. Yeah, I have tons of tramp trails for you, Jedi Bob. Love the name, by the way. Go send me a DM on Instagram. If you have any videos of the trick you're doing, I can look at it after this and I can give you some feedback. We also, like I said earlier, like I literally coach all the athletes I have in Slope Academy. Like it's our online community. But I'm coaching everybody. Everybody just drops their video clips in the Discord. I'll give them like a video breakdown, feedback on how to fix it, how to make it better, and all that stuff. And then everybody's also hanging out. If you don't have Insta, okay, well, womp womp. Can't send me the video on there. If your rotation speed is too slow, learned it on airbag at Copper. Take this snow because your rotation speed is too slow. Yeah, it's hard for me to say exactly what's going wrong with I can't see the video. If your rotation speed is too slow, I don't know how many of you done on trampoline, Jedi Bob. If you haven't done a lot on trampoline, we should work on them on trampoline. And if you haven't done any front flips on the airbag or a lot of front flips on the airbag, we should work on that as well. If you can't do an upright 540 like on snow or on the airbag, those are good places to start. Like prerequisites for Misty would be a good front flip on snow and a good upright 540 with a safety grab, not like set with my upper body, spin all upper body. If you have those two things dialed, then we can start working on like how your takeoff is for the Misty 5. A lot of times people, when they do it, they don't pop up. They try to punch through the jump and they don't have enough power because they're punching through. A lot of it, like when you go to do a Misty off a jump on skis, because the takeoffs like this, you have to be patient. And a lot of people push through. They lose a little bit of power in the trick, but they also get the height they need and the amplitude. So really think about punching up and then tucking into it. And if you don't have that power and that snap that you're going to generate from doing it on tramp and other things like that, it's going to be hard. If you're just like lazily doing it like this, you're going to need a really big jump. So you really want to have that snap and that pop into it. Ways you can work on that on trampoline is doing 1.5 Misty progressions. So like working up to a double Misty progression on the tramp is a good way to do that. But any of this stuff you need help with, Jedi Bob, go to slopeacademy.com and I can coach you with that stuff. You can send your videos in there in our online community and I can coach you. But I think the main thing is like takeoff timing, power, snap, and then also if you can just work on the like 1.5 progression on tramp. No worries, dude. There's also at Slope Academy, like when you go on the website, like there'll be a pop-up, but there's also free tutorials on like all the singles that you're gonna do when it comes to park skiing, like 720s, all that stuff like that. There's free tutorials for that stuff on tramp. So whether you hang out in the community or not, definitely go grab the tutorials because they'll help you guys. Where I live, I can't get a tramp to practice on, and I can't ask to go trampoline park and just fall on small kids. No gymnastics gym either. Yeah, it definitely makes it tougher, man. I used to try to do some flat ground tricks. I could do Misties and stuff flat ground. I could do Clark's flat ground. You can work on stuff that way. It's definitely a little scarier, a little harder. One thing I used to do a lot, Flynn, was I would do a lot of diving, like, go to the pool, go off the diving board. I would do a lot of bridge jumping and stuff like that, or cliff jumping into the water. I learned a lot of tricks that way. I learned like how to do cork sevens off of like a bridge into the water for the first time. So there are ways around it. How do you get upside down? How do you get airtime? And how do you be safe doing it? So trampoline, gymnastics place with mats and stuff. In the water is always a good option. So things to think about. Peace out, Nate. Big fan of your coaching. Helped me land your first 3 sick. I'm stoked on that. Have I rode the 2019 Line Chronic? I believe so. It's really good. Tips for backflip. Backflip, obviously, we can go over like technique and what's the most important. But mainly it's going to be, okay, learn it on somewhere safe, like again, water, trampoline, gymnastics club or whatever. And then being able to commit. Flynn, you should totally go to tramp park. Yeah, you definitely should. Do tramp skis or do anything that stuff for snow. I don't use tramp skis mainly just because it's really hard to bounce and do big tricks with tramp skis. I usually just do it with like my just bouncing normally. You can grab like all the grabs like just with your feet, mute, Japan, safety, all that stuff. You don't really need tramp skis on the bottom of your feet. What do you think about listening to music while skiing? My mom won't let me do it because it's too dangerous. I don't think it's dangerous really at all, unless you totally zone out and you're just like looking like this when you're skiing down the hill. I think it's totally fine to listen to music. Definitely takes away a little bit of your concentration. You're not in the present moment as much. Really not going to make that much of a difference. Tell her, hey, you can drive down the highway in a car listening to music, but I can't ski down the mountain listening to music. The only thing I think she may be worried about is like running into other people and not being aware of surroundings, but you can definitely do it. Have I ever been to Stowey, Vermont? I'm not. Tiff, hey, just live in Oz. I got back from 2 weeks session, rails and 360s. Love your content. Sweet, Tiff. We actually have a couple of Slope Academy athletes, like in the coaching program I run, that are in Australia right now that are at Perisher riding. Some chicks that are riding, working on their first threes and rails and stuff like that. So if you ever have any, you want to ride with anybody, they'll be there. You should definitely keep working your stuff. Misty helps me concentrate. Always worried about other skiers hitting me. Yeah, you can be worried about other skiers hitting you, but unless they're coming and hitting you from behind, then more or less like music, like like you're skiing down the hill looking in front of you. You shouldn't be running into anybody, whether you're listening to music or not. You shouldn't be running into anybody. And if they're coming from behind, the only other way they're going to hit you is if they're coming from behind, right? And if they're hitting you from behind, music is not going to help, I don't think. Like, you're not going to, unless they're screaming, like, watch out because they can't stop. I guess that could be the spot. Flynn, any good skis for next year? Size of 161s? Yeah, T-Wall Pros, bro. T-Wall Pros. I'm sure Armada makes a good ski in the 160, like 1 or 3 or something. But, yeah, probably all good options. Cool. Oh, it's fun doing these kind of live stream things. Do I play any video games? So what? I don't really play any video games right now because literally my entire day is just destroyed by activities, like 2 to 3 MMA classes a day, usually ski, airbag, or something like that throughout the day, and then I am and then I'm at the gym, so I don't really have time. I used to play a lot of like Call of Duty and other things like that. Fortnite, I've been loving Fortnite, but I haven't played that much lately. Nothing lately. It's my second season skiing, and I was also wondering if I'm getting shin bang from landing backseat too much, or is it because of the boots? Tiff, great question. I would have to see your tricks to be like 100% it's because you're landing backseat. Depends on how tight you have your boots as well. Like, are you like, for me personally, if your boots have much flex in them at all, then they're too loose. Like, I'm riding my boots like almost as tight as they go. Other than that, for most beginners, Tiff, I think the main problem that they have is they're doing their 360s and stuff like that, and they're just landing backseat. It's the main cause of shin bang is because people are landing backseat. Some people definitely like ride with their like boots super loose, but I think the main thing is that people are just backseat when they do tricks. So if you have any tricks you're working on, send them over to me via Instagram. I can like look at them and be like, hey, like this, you're landing backseat because of this. And then obviously if you want coaching, we can help you out in Slope Academy, but a lot of it is mainly backseat. That's a lot of GGs through hard work. Off topic, but how long have you been doing MMA? I've been doing MMA for about 4 years now. On and off. 4 years because in the winter I don't do a whole lot because I'm traveling for skiing contests so much. But in the summer I'm training 3 times a day, 3 classes a day. Like today I did a private boxing class and then a boxing class. And then I went skiing, so I didn't do more, but I'm usually doing minimum 2 to 3 classes a day. So I'm training a lot more than most people throughout the summer, but throughout the winter, I'm not training as much. But like, I'm okay. I'm like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and like I've had amateur MMA fights and stuff like that. And like, I would say I'm like, I would say I'm like one of the better guys in the gym for sure. But also a lot of that comes from just like natural athletic abilities. I've been doing every sport since I, was little. And I think that helped a lot as well. Backseater as well. Yeah. A lot of people are backseat on their 360s mainly because like, the jump is like this and they take off standing fully upright like this and they set their 360 fully upright like this. If the jump is like this and the landing is like this, and you set fully upright, you're going to go up the jump and you're going to land like this on your back or your butt or on the tails of your skis. So when you set a 360 off a jump, especially on axis tricks, you have to set forward a little bit. You see how I'm leaning forward a little bit? That's to counteract the takeoff of the jump and to line up the landing a little better. If I set just straight up, I'm going to come off the jump and I'm going to land like this, right? So I got to set a little bit forward with my chest as I pop off the jump. So I don't land backseat as much. Tricks for 270s off rails specific. A lot of people try to do 270s off rails with really bad 360s. Work on your 360s. Like if you're trying to do a front two off a rail, but you cannot do a good right 180 or a good right 360 or unnatural, it's going to be really hard. If you're trying to do a back two and you cannot do a good 360, if your 360s are all upper body like this, you're leaving your feet and your skis behind and you're trying to do back twos, work on your 360s first. It usually helps. How easy to take tricks from trip to stow depends on who you are. Depends on how good of a skier you are. If you're a really, really good skier, you're comfortable hitting jumps. You're comfortable like doing big jumps. Your pop and your timing is really good on jumps. Taking tramp tricks to snow is not going to be that hard. If you're not a very good skier, but you're really good at tramp, and you don't have very good timing in your jumps, you don't have a pop up to take off, then it's going to be harder. So just if you're a really good skier and comfortable, the tramp tricks will come. If you're really good tramp, you just need to get more comfortable skiing. Ever skied in New York? No, I have not. Slow, is it easy to take? If I'm not landing cork sevens, do I wipe it or let it cross? Dude, let it cross. Where are the closest airbags to Oregon? I think Utah has the airbag. That would be good. I used to dirt bike. I used to do BMX bike. I could do like 540s and backflips onto a resi on a BMX bike. But that's been a while. That's been a long time. I learned how to do backflip this summer. Copper. What's the next progression step for jumps? Depends on what depends on what other tricks you have. Do you have like good 360s, 540s, 720s, or can you barely do a 360 but you also did a backflip? I need more details. My 270s are very goofy. If your 270s are really flaily and uncomfortable, work on getting more comfortable on rails and work on your 360s. Work on your 360s, bring your knees to your chest. You should, like, before you can do a good back two, you should be able to do a good 540 safety. Just so something to think about. Don't ski in New York, it's ass. Bro is good at everything, for real. Except for I'm 5'3", so like it's kind of a disability. Why is everybody bro is there? Yeah, it depends on where you go to train. It's pretty expensive for a lot of places, but I think the most important and the best training all you guys can do that are first starting out over the course of the summer is trampoline. And you can get a backyard round trampoline for like a couple $100, or you can get one for free. Somebody's throwing it out or doesn't want it anymore. And you can use that and literally tramp every day for like 3-4 hours. And you can learn all the singles on trampoline. You can like have super good progression. If you want to take it a step farther, you can join Sub Academy and like work with me and all the other athletes. We'll coach you and actually walk you through the steps and the tricks. Otherwise, there's a bunch of free tutorials everywhere on the internet that you can look at as well. But trampoline is like going to be the most important thing. And, to get a backyard round black mat garden trampoline is usually very inexpensive. And I would recommend that the most. How do you use the swing weight of tramp to on skis? The swing weight stuff is, again, like mainly just how comfortable and how good are you of a skier. Like if you can do 360s with skis on, your tramp tricks, off-axis tramp tricks are going to come. If your 360s, like I said, are set all upper body, your skis are getting left behind, you're not bringing your knees with you and your lower body with you, then you need to work on that first. Do you ever ski backcountry? Yeah, I ski like backcountry whenever I get the chance. I'm not like amazing backcountry skier. Like I'm a good skier, but I'm not like skiing crazy lines like or anything like that. I don't have like my avalanche safety courses or anything. I started doing tramp last week. What should I work on first, and how long will it take to get down snow? Tramp next week. I don't know where your tramp skills are at. You should let me know what your tramp skills are at. But I would say the most important thing is like working on basic spins and then starting to work on all-way singles. If you have a tramp and you're going all the time, like there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to learn backflips, front flips, Misty fives, and cork sevens over the course of the summer. If you want coaching with it, like I said, we do all this stuff in Slope Academy. I'll put it again in the chat. But I'm literally coaching all the athletes in there every day of the week. Like you literally just drop a video of you working on the trick. Hey, what am I doing wrong? Or we'll help set goals and everything for you too as well. But hey, what am I doing wrong? How do I fix it? I'm literally gonna go like on the trampoline, film a video. Hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Here's how to fix it. Here's the next steps to build up and work on it. That's literally what we do in Slope Academy. So tramp stuff, anybody working in tramp this summer like can help you out with that like super well. I think again, first things are just like getting all the flips, all the singles. But I think you got whether you get coached by us or whether you don't, really make sure you're learning all the tricks like properly with the right technique. That's the biggest thing. If you're doing all these tricks on your own, you don't know how to do the proper technique, get help from me, get help from somebody else. Watch all the videos and tutorials online, but you do not want to have bad habits right off the bat because it's hard to fix. There's free tutorials at slopeacademy.com on all the tramp tricks and everything like that for singles. So whether you join our community or whatever, go use those because they'll help you for sure. Hey, je t'aime beaucoup. The new setup, getting used to the new setup. Do you think you and Steve will ride again together this season? I would really hope so. I like Steve. He's a really nice dude. Would you rather be 6'4" and never ski again in your life? I don't even want to be 6'4". I like being 5'3". I don't mind it. I would love to be 5'6". That'd be lit. I don't need to be any taller than that. 5'3" is a little short. 5'6" would be dope. Whenever I try to huck a double back you, my tramp feels sketched out. I have no idea what your tramp is, so I can't really help you there. Double bounce, put some water on it, usually helps with a little bit of height. While working on front flips and close that I don't have the time for the tramp like over the week and it takes so long. You gotta go as much as you can. It'll help. Any tips to get back after ACL? Yo, we have a full Slope Academy again. Kibis, go to www.slopeacademy.com and one of the other coaches, Ian, he's like super into the gym and all that stuff. He made a full like leg day program for recovery after ACL and stuff like that, and you can grab it there. Didn't hear what you said about airbags near Oregon. There's one in Utah. I don't know how close it is to Oregon, but closer than all the other ones. Utah. Fly low, I can 540 safety, 360 to the right. Ever wonder why my 270s are goofy? Maybe the set. Yeah, a lot of people when they're on rails, they stand super tall. So if you're 540s and everything are good, but you're on a rail super tall like this, then they're going to be very goofy, right? They're going to be like, So knees bent, nice strong stance. I have a good strong posture. My knees are leg width apart. Sounds like it's going to be more of your rail skiing abilities than the spin abilities. So you're staying feet super tall together or super tall feet together on the rail. It's going to be really hard to grip and get the set. So nice strong stance, dip that heel, and then set around. Again, slopeacademy.com. You guys can send me the videos and I'll actually review them and go over exactly what you're doing wrong and use some coaching advice. I'm going to grab a computer charger. Let's see if my computer charging cord is long enough to reach my computer. I'm actually having fun doing it, so stick around a little bit longer. Maybe it's long enough. It's not. Maybe I gotta move my camera back a bit. Oh no, it's long enough. Okay, 1 second, lads. That should do the trick. Hey. All right, we're back. I feel like there's so many underground skiers that with the potential but never get their name out there. because they're not good enough, so they never end up going pro. Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good skiers. I think I've seen so many super talented park skiers not make it, mainly just because they can't afford to keep going and keep training. But a lot of the people that, like, for me, for instance, like I had to pay for like all my stuff, like pretty much myself. And a lot of people, like, they are really good at skiing. They're really good at the sport. They're really determined. They're really motivated, but they don't think outside the box. They're not resourceful enough to find ways to fund it. Or they're just like, they do it for a couple of years and they're like, this is like, why am I spending this much money on skiing? Like, I just can't do that anymore. So that happens sometimes. But it's hard. Life's tough. Get a helmet. Sounds good. Shred skiing. No worries. And shred skiing too. Like I said, all this stuff is on soulacademy.com. Like, whether you join our community, hang out with us in there. We have a free trial too. You can try it out for free or not. But there's free tutorials on there. So go use the free tutorials. They'll help you. Being shorter come with downsides for freestyle skiing. Yeah, I think a lot of, like, I think being super tall also has downsides. But, I mean, I watch A-Hall hop onto rails that are like up to my shoulders for Urban On, and he does it super easy in contests. And I'm like trying to hop onto these rails. I'm like, holy shit, this is so high. So yeah, for sure. How to do a Screaming Seaman dub 21. I don't know. I've never done that. I have done dub 16 Screaming Seaman. So sucking that. How should I train skiing this summer? Tim Fosberg. Best way to train skiing this summer is, depends on what you have access to and what you can afford. Airbag is probably the best way to practice jumps. Backyard rails is the best way to practice rails, obviously. I think the most affordable option that works for everybody is trampoline. Grind trampoline. Does flexibility help a lot? Yeah, you want to be flexible, mainly just maintaining yourself to avoid injuries. If you're overly flexible, it's not amazing for freestyle skiing. You actually want to be like, have a little bit more tighter hips and stuff like that, just because it's better for landing and impacts and everything. But being just an overall good athlete and that's flexible and stuff is going to help. Do going on parking stops laid down tree trunks in summer to practice stuff up. Oh yeah, parking stops for rails and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That helps a lot. Visualizing that stuff helps. Another way you can practice rails is also just like getting a slack line. You can buy a slack line on Amazon for $40, and you literally just use, like, practice your rails on that. Put it like this high off the ground. It's a really good way to think about it. Just the thing is, like, when you visualize it like a rail. Like, I'm not visualizing I'm not doing a 2-on-2, whatever, the curb or the slack line. Like, I wouldn't do it on snow. I do it exactly like I would do it on snow. I don't just like tips in right away and like whatever. I'm gonna go tips up, land looking at the end of the rail, or parking stop or whatever, come to forward, whatever I want. But you have to visualize it and treat it as natural rail. Otherwise, it's not gonna help as much. Ski bum is the way to keep it going till you make it. Yeah, except for when you have to pay for going to events and everything like that. If you're going to have a contest route, you can't really ski bum it that much, because you can save money, but you have to pay for flights, accommodation, lift passes at all the different resorts. So it definitely adds up. You can save money, but you're still going to spend a lot. My sister is a pro skier too. Yeah, Megan is pro. Megan's on Monster. She's won X Games. She got Olympics. Megan's good as shit. She's got 4th place at the Olympics, which is kind of a bummer, but she won back-to-back X Games gold medals last year, or the year before. First girl to ever do a triple on skis. She's pretty good. I'm 5'10", at 14. I'm hoping I don't grow too tall. You know what, dude? I don't want to hear any of that. I'm 5'3". Whatever. Do I recommend tramp skis? I think it's good if you can afford them and you want to use them. It's really hard to do big tricks. Like, I wouldn't learn any of my flip tricks, my off-axis tricks with tramp skis on at first. I would learn them all just normally without. And I still wouldn't use tramp skis for off-axis stuff. It's good to help learn grabs, good to help practice rails stuff. Other than that, I wouldn't use it as much. Going Baxter, I've been skateboarding and skiing a lot. My knees are just killing me on impact. Yeah, like I said, Ian has a really good leg day, off-season leg day training thing in Slope Academy. It would really help you with that stuff. It's like a bunch of workouts for literally improving your knees and knee health. So check out slopeacademy.com, and it'll be there in the courses that we offer. It's like pretty. I think you go shop on Slope Academy. You put together a really good one for all the athletes and then made it available for you guys too. You mentioned something about 360s earlier. Did you say leading with your upper body and your knees behind is good? If you leave your legs behind when you're doing spins, really bad. Like if really bad, then it's a no-go. So if I'm spinning like this, but my legs are fully behind, bad. I want to set when I come to here. I want to bring everything together. My knees, my skis, my lower body's coming together with me the whole time. Do not want to be all upper body on takeoff and leave that swing weight behind. I'm not looking at the end of the rail. I slide out. Is that just not? No, it's just how rails usually work. Like if you want a perfect technique for getting on a rail and getting off a rail, you should be ideally looking at the end of the rail. That's how you balance. If I'm on a rail and I'm looking like this, the end of the rail is this way, how the hell am I supposed to see what's coming and balance on it? Super hard. I hop on the rail. I'm looking at the end of the rail. A lot of people look at the end of the rail with their shoulders open and everything like this, and their feet aren't fully 90. That's bad. But what I want you guys to do, you hop on the rail, you land fully 90, shoulders are squared, knees are squared, rail's straight ahead of me. I'm just looking at the end of the rail. The rest of my body is squared off. That's where people get messed up. Nah, bro. I don't know what you're saying that to, but 20, I just learned basic tricks. Is it too late? Hey, yeah, no, Tiff, it's not too late. For girls, nope. For guys, nope. Not too late. You can still make an amazing career in skiing. You might not get to the point where the best athlete ever. You very well can. 20 is too late to do that. But I don't think so at all. You can do anything you want. This is your life. You can do anything you want. You can totally make it. I started when I was 16, 17 park skiing, Tiff, and I'm 25 now. So do the same math, you'd be about 28, and you could be like in the position I am right now. So totally not really. Do you have any tips about urban on rails? I feel like I nail it sometimes, and others I land back seat. Is there any tips to try to keep you forward, or is it more just overthinking? Depends on if it's urban on down rail or flat rail. I think a back seat. They just stand too tall. Back up out of the chair. Sitting too tall, feet are together. Usually ends up with you leaning back a bit. Hit the light. Usually ends up with you leaning back a bit. So if you can have that nice, strong, like shoulder width apart, bent knee stance on the rail, you're naturally going to be more balanced. If your feet are this far apart, it's very hard to be back seat, right? If my feet are this close apart, very easy to be back seat or leaning back on the rail. So I think about that, Brent. Flynn Baxter, if I was doing the ski by doing the core in the back by doing the skiing, I don't understand that question. How do I even see my position on the rail and adjust if I look at the end of the rail been confused for a long time. How do I see my position on the rail and adjust if I look at the end of the rail? So that's a great question. It's more of a natural feeling thing than anything. You're not necessarily like looking down at the rail to see where you're balanced. Because if you're doing that, you're not balancing, you're not focusing on it. Like you ever do a slack line or anything, you're not looking directly at your feet below. It's really hard to balance. You're looking ahead of yourself. You don't drive a car looking like 10 feet in front of you because you're not going to be able to react or do anything fast enough, right? You look down the hill or look at what's coming. And then it's more just natural feeling and getting used to it. The more rails you hit, the more comfortable you get. But definitely do not want to be looking down at your feet like the whole time you're on a rail. Like maybe when I do my 270 on, come up and over. Some people look down as a bad habit right when you get on the rail. But ideally, if you are looking down, you immediately look for the end of the rail to balance. Why does it feel good? Why does it feel like I'm sliding on a rail rather than getting a good grip? You should be sliding on the rail. Wow, we got a lot of questions here. Also, if you don't make it to the highest point where you can be at the highest level, you can still make a career off it. Yeah, dude, like literally, like everybody's like, oh, like is it too late to have a career in skiing or whatever? Look at Steve. Steve is by no means the best skier ever. Love the guy, sweet bro. He's actually pretty good at park skiing. Like, let's be real, he's not bad, but he's by no means a pro, and he's full-time career off of it. There's tons of people like that. You just have to hustle in other ways. How to get back from around? You have to set hard and send it. Send it, brother. Why does it feel like I'm sliding the rail running a good grip? Maybe you have super dull edges. You need to work on your how you use your toes and your heels on the rail. How hard do you pop to get onto a down rail? Sometimes they're too far down time. Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice. You don't want to fully absorb onto it, but you don't want to jump and slam onto the top of it. Depends on whatever rail you're going onto. Ideally, the smoother you can be onto the rail, the better. So the least amount of pop you have that helps you that you can get on the rail and get in a good position to land on, the better. Backflips, how can you tuck and look backwards? When I tuck, I feel like I cannot spot my landing. Tucking, looking backwards. You can do it. You can practice it literally here in a chair. I set, I tuck, I'm looking backwards. By the time I'm at this position, I'm already starting to open up out of my tuck. So you don't stay tucked in the back flip the whole time. You only tuck at the apex, right? I set my back flip. I set up. I extend. I'm fully upside down. I tuck. And then as I'm coming out, I open up and I'm looking and spotting, right? So you're not necessarily spotting when you're tucking. You can spot a little bit when you're tucking, but you're not necessarily spotting when you're tucking. You're opening up. By the time you're spotting, it looks like I'm riding a bike whenever you start to feel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way of describing riding a rail and looking at the end. Like on a bike, you look down at the beginning when you're first learning, and then as you get used to it, you look forward ahead. I am not the best skier ever, but one day, maybe. Tiff, I'm really comfortable with gainers and layups and tramp and can back in and ground, but feels restricting when I'm on skis. How to get more comfortable to send it. You need to work on hitting jumps more, Tiff. If you're that good at backflips and everything on tramp and on flat ground and everything like that, but you cannot do it on snow or feel like you can't do it on snow, I know you said you have 360s and stuff, but do more. 540s, safety grabs, all that stuff. Maybe try front flip first. Really get comfortable hitting jumps, get comfortable spinning, adding grabs, then you can go for backflips. When I feel like when I'm doing athletic stance on rails in general, I slouch. Is that bad or normal? No, you should. Makes it ugly. I'm not on a rail like this, with my back bent over like this. I'm in a strong stack position, like I'm doing a squat. I'm in a strong position. Obviously you want to be stylish, that comes later. But if you're back rounded like this, you're not in a very athletic position. You can't really do much tricks or anything out of that. So that's a bad posture position to have on the rail. Watch you every single day. I love you. Thank you. Every single day. I don't post every single day. So unless you're going back and watching, Steezy Sledge. Steezy Sledge is sick, but harder to do tricks for sure. Fence rails. Oh, you win, best comment. That was awesome. My back is arched, not far down like your example, because I'm still balanced. And yeah, it's not a big deal. Then you're fine. Just don't do the full fence rail. Full fence rails unnecessary. Cool. Bruce, you know Hayden? I know a couple Haydens. That could be anybody. My bad. my bad. I'm also not very good with names, so. Anyways, I got 2 minutes. I'm going to do the last minute. We're going to hit 50 minutes on this live stream, and I'm piecing. So you guys got any more questions? Do you do any mental training? I do a lot of mental training. A lot of it is working on being in the present moment and visualizing. Those two things are probably some of the most important things you can work on. If you can make yourself really good at being in the present moment for any sport, it's going to help you huge. I live in Montreal. Max skis. I've had shin bang since the beginning of the season. Any tips to make it heal faster? Stop landing back seat, brother. Stop landing back seat. Send me. I'll coach you, help you out, figure out how to avoid the back seat, and massage your calves. The shins here. The reason you're getting shin bang is not because of the bone. It's because all the muscles around your shin are super tight. So if you're foam rolling it, massage gunning it, stuff like that, it's going to help make it feel a little bit better. It's going to suck, but it's going to help make it feel a bit better. My parents are really afraid of neck injuries and paralysis. Can you tell me more about those injuries? How to avoid it? Get really good at air awareness so that you don't land on your head and neck. If you're a super skilled trampolinist or really, really good trampoline, or like doing those kind of stuff on tramp, you have really good air awareness, the likelihood of you landing on your neck is very, very low. Just because like if I do mess up, like me personally, if I do mess up a trick, let's say do a trip 18 and mess up, I know I'm not going to get to my feet, but because I have such good air awareness, I'm very confident that I'm not going to land directly on my head because I'm going to roll out to my side. I'm going to cat twist to my back. Like I won't land on my neck. So the better you are at trampoline and better air awareness you have, the easier it is to avoid this stuff. I want to go to Montreal. Oh, I went to Montreal last month. Sweet. Using K2 poachers the same height as me. Is that too big for sending backies? Worried about snagging tips? No, I think that's not too big. I think that's a very typical height. That's what I ride. That's what most people ride. Anywhere from here to here to here is a good height. Obviously, when you're first starting, a little bit lower is better. If you're really arching out your backflips, like if you're laying it out for your first backflip, you are more likely to catch your tips than if you set and tuck. So if you're really worried about catching your tips, make sure you tuck at the apex. Then you're more likely to actually over-rotate, land a little back seat, maybe on your butt, than you are to catch your tips. So usually catching your tips on a backflip is not really the worst thing, as long as it's not like a full-on ice sheet of snow, and you don't like when you catch your tips, you don't go like this with your arms and break. So if you do end up catching your tips, like just like fall like to your side or to your, it's usually actually better than over rotating. Front flip, but I can't back flip. Is that weird? No, not weird. A lot of people start front flips over backflips. Backflips are scary. Backflips are a way more intimidating trick. Do I see shin pressure on corks? It feels weird to still do. Yeah, you should have shin pressure on your corks. If you're leaning fully back, you have no shin pressure on your corks. It's going to be slung and it's going to be very out of control. You don't need a lot of shin pressure, like just a little bit. And then I set back. But if I'm just like fully leaning back, like I'm just going to get more slung off the jump. Okay, last couple questions. I got a piece. This has been 52 minutes. Or stop it, camps. Good. I don't know. I've never been. I watch a lot of tutorials the Stop It guy does. Honestly, if you're taking freestyle skiing super seriously, I don't think some of his techniques for park tricks like cork sevens and stuff are very good. I think he's teaching bad habits for that stuff. But for basics like 360s, radio 5s, backflips, Misties, all that stuff, I think it's probably not bad at all. Do you know the front flip kid? I know a lot of kids that can front flip, brother. Sweet. Okay. I said last questions, and now I mean it. I'm gonna be here forever. I could be here forever. I also have to eat. Head sleep. It's like 9 o'clock. Jesus. Boots for freestyle, beginner freestyles. Find the boot that's the most comfortable for you and is like at least an 80 flex and up. Thank you, Squid Pants, Mr. Squid Pants. I'm glad you like the live stream. I really don't do a lot of live streams, but I feel like I could get into it. I feel like I would be a good live streamer, and I have a lot of knowledge to share about skiing. But I'm also just like rambling a lot. Boots for freestyle, beginner freestyle skis. You should just get, a pretty stiff boot and one that's comfortable. Main thing is comfortable. No worries, Steph. I'm super glad I helped you out. If you guys want any extra coaching or like literally like this is what I do 24/7 in Slope Academy. It's our community. We have me and a couple other coaches and then a bunch of athletes. We have Discord community and a bunch of tutorials and everything in there. So check it out. www.slopeacademy.com. Slope Academy. But I also like hopping on the live stream and stuff. Ow. off the table. Let's share the link right here. slopeacademy.com. There's also free tutorials there, and you guys can try it out for free for 3 days as well. So use the free tutorials. All that stuff's there for you to use. And then if it's for you, great. I know online coaching isn't for everybody. Like we literally, we're doing something pretty new here. It's basically the same as in-person coaching, but it's just a little bit more of a time delay because, you guys send in the videos and then I have to like look at it. I'll take screenshots. I'll film a video of me doing on the trampoline. Like here's how to fix it. Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's how I go about next steps. and break it down that way. So it's like pretty much just like the time delay. I go through all the questions each night. So you get answers to your questions each night minimum. It's really good for people like if you're just skiing on weekends, but you're working on stuff outside of like during the week and stuff. You don't have coaching feedback then, or you just have good coaches where you are. It's a good area for that. Also, if you just want to hang out with everybody, there's a bunch of like skiers like all this beginning range that are like super motivated and trying to learn new tricks. So it's just a good community and good vibe there. Anyways, all right, I'll see you guys. Deuces. Thanks for opening the live stream. It was fun.